Bull City, stand up. The 919 has talent, and now it's time to prove it. The First and Goal 365 Showcase is coming to Riverside High School on June 27th. And this is not just another camp. This is where you get tested, get evaluated, and get verified. No politics, just opportunity. Parents, we got you too. We're bringing a free parent recruiting seminar to help families understand the process, ask the right questions, and get real information about what it takes to move from high school football to the next level. And yes, college coaches will be in attendance. Early bird registration is only $99, but it goes up to $125 at the door. So don't wait until it's too late. If you're a player in Durham, Raleigh, the Triangle, or anywhere in North Carolina trying to get seen, this is your moment. The Bull City Classic presents the First and Goal 365 Showcase.
What's up? How's everybody doing? It's your man, Coach Block, at the Lunchtime Live Talk. This seems to be a thing. I had Coach or Mr. Ziegler reach out to me and say, what we talking about today? And I wanted to talk about the camp. We haven't talked about that. I've talked about and laid the foundation of what a terrible camp is, what a money grab is. But I want to be able to talk about this camp and talk about what we do here at First and Goal 365. And when I say we, it's not a lot of people. Number one person is me. So why did we even create this, and what are we trying to do? Today is not about what's wrong, right? We don't want to just keep talking about what's wrong over and over again and keep beating a dead horse. I'm going to be talking about why we built the things that we built and why we built it this way. I haven't talked much on the camp, specifically on purpose, because it'll get lost in the sauce with everybody else and what they're talking about, what they're discussing. So it's like, well, I don't want to always just keep talking about that. I just wanted to be able to clear the air and then now be able to talk about why we structured the camp that we wanted to do. There was a lot of truths that needed to be discussed first, a lot of things that needed to be cleared out of the way. But today is going to be about the details. First and Goal wasn't thrown together. It wasn't something that I just said, oh, I think I'm coming up with a camp because I need some money. This was very specifically orchestrated so that we can maximize what our student athletes' experiences are for recruiting and what our parent experience is for understanding what the process is, because no two people have the same recruiting process. So I'm not asking parents to just trust the flyer. I'm not asking parents to just say, okay, just trust my word blindly. I'm asking parents to look at a structured camp that we have created. So here are some things that I just need parents to understand that here, you don't want to leave with confusion. Parents are paying for camps, but they're still leaving with confusion. That's a problem. And a lot of families are just like guessing on what I should do and throwing a dart at the dartboard blindly, and still not understanding like where their kid stands, or, what is the next step, or what are these conversations that are being had. And to be honest, a lot of parents need to know that exposure helps, but you also need to have direction. And in a time when recruiting is happening at such a rapid pace, it is happening so fast, meaning guys are committing, schools are filling up their blocks, you're dealing with the transfer portal and the issues that come along with the transfer portal. You need specific direction. There are student athletes, don't get me wrong. There are student athletes that can sit around and wait and offer stack. They can do that. But in this day and age, I would not advise offer stacking anymore. I would advise understanding specifically where you want to go, how you want to get there, being academically strong enough to get into the set schools that you have. My personal thing is you have your dream and you have your reality. Your dream schools are the schools that, they may be tough to get into because of just talent pool that they have access to, or maybe even academic constraints that they have. You need to have those dream schools. That's what keeps you going. That's what drives you, right? But then you also need to have those reality schools where, okay, these are schools that I know I can get in. I know I got the GPA. I've made connection with coaches, and nobody's ever going to shoot down your dream, but you still need to make sure you're anchored in some form of reality when you're planning on what you're going to do with your college. Don't chase other people's dreams, such as oh, NIL, how much money is this person making, and I should make this much and all that. Because what we're finding out is a lot of these players are being promised NIL money, and they're not even getting that paid out by these collectives. So that's another story for another day. I won't hit that. The goal for me is to reframe the camp experience entirely, right? But specifically here, right? I would love to be able to take this show on the road, and hopefully the goal is to eventually take this show on the road and do some camps other places. But right now, the goal is to be able to be right here in North Carolina and specifically on this side of the state, and be able to take care of the student athletes that are here. So I don't want people to think, oh, this is just drills and then they leave and then they go home. You are going to drill. You are going to have your evaluation and your competition piece, and athletes are going to get that work. I got coaches that are going to make sure you get that work. We'll discuss the coaches in a minute. But the biggest thing is that parents are going to leave with information, and as a family, you will have some clarity. Your son can run routes and do drills all day, but if a parent still leaves confused about recruiting, then I specifically didn't do my job. And so we are set up to make sure that does not happen. I don't want parents leaving with just a picture of what this could be. I want parents to leave with information on specifically how this is done. The one thing that I need to continuously remind everybody about is that there is no magic wand. You cannot just take a magic wand and say, poof, I'm going to this school, and poof, I'm going to that school, and poof, I'm going to the. It does not work like that. We'll get into some things. Matter of fact, let's talk about it right now. When you're getting ready to go on this recruiting journey and you have started to select your schools, the biggest thing you need to know is who's already there in your position, how many people they're taking in that said position, how many people are leaving, graduating, or going into the transfer portal in your position. If you do not look into those things and you're saying, oh man, I want to go, just for, example, I want to go to state and I'm a D lineman, but you notice that majority of the D linemen at state are sophomores, juniors, not many seniors. So that means not a lot of guys are leaving. You also notice that there aren't a lot of guys jumping into the transfer portal, so that they're pretty solid as far as the amount of student athletes they have at that position. And your dream is to go to that school. The likelihood of being recruited to that school, if you're not doing something above and beyond the guys that are in front of you already there, slim to none. What also would I do if I were you in that position? I would also look at the highlight tapes of the people who are specifically on your on their rosters. So you can go back and look at Huddle highlight tape. If you don't see your ability amongst the guys that are already there and recruited, that's going to tell you something, right? So where do you rank amongst the guys that when they were your age and they were in your shoes, where does that work? Because issues continue to arise where we have lofty expectations of ourselves and of these schools. And sometimes we think that people should just take us because we put on the uniform and we play. And that's not how this works. So we need to start with our self-evaluation and looking in the mirror and understanding, what do I have to offer a university, and does that university want what I specifically have to offer? They may not. Just being honest. And you have to be able to know that. And you know that before you're going into camps. I don't want to give too much away because then you're not going to sign up for my for my parent seminar. I do have the ability. So instead of sending me text messages, because I'm getting a whole bunch of text messages, y'all can actually tap in with me and we can do this live. I have the ability to have calls. So try this number here and we'll see if it works. So let's see if it pops up. Yep. Try that number. See it, call it. Let me know if it works. Then we'll be able to further this conversation. Because I can't go from text message to screen to text message to screen. It gets confusing. I lose my places on where I'm at, and I don't want to hold everybody. But if you want to call in, 919-514-4403. I think it's the number. If it doesn't work, just put in the chat that it didn't work, and we'll figure something out. I don't want to give my real number, so that's my Google number. Y'all ain't getting my real number. If you don't know it, you don't know it. But if you do have my real number, call me now, and then we can go ahead and talk online, and people can hear you. But I'm not giving strangers my new number, so y'all can chill on that. But if you do know me, give me a call, and then we can talk about it. And you can also voice your opinion on different things if you want to. I have no problem with that. So hit me up, and we can discuss it. Once again, if you have my real number, just call me, or you can hit me up on 919-514-4403. So let's talk about the structure of this camp. Okay. The structure of the camp is first, we're going to have this recruiting seminar. That's going to be for the parents. All right. So the parents are a part of the recruiting process. I'm going to tell you a time and time again, parents, you are the number one advocate for your child. That does not mean you need to be overbearing, but that does mean you need to be on your, I'm going to say it just like Coach Block. You need to be on your shit. You need to have all your boxes checked whenever your student athlete is being recruited. What does that mean? If your coach doesn't have a copy of your transcript, your child's transcript, guess what? You should have a copy of your transcript. You can go get an unofficial transcript from the student office right now. Sometimes coaches don't have them handy. You need to have them handy so that at any given time when somebody says, hey, man, can you go get your unofficial transcript? Bow, I'm ready to hand that over. Remember, like on in Living Color, when Tommy Davidson used to come out the corner like, bam, that's what you need to have when you need to have that transcript. And you need to make sure it is updated. And if you don't have a transcript, make sure you have the most current report card. Parents, also, we need to know about film, organizing the film, making decisions of where you should be going, who to email, et cetera, that all is a part of this parent seminar, because parents, you do need to do that. You have to do some groundwork on your own. Everybody doesn't specifically send out information the way they need to. But what I will do, and for those who are watching, you probably want to tell people to tune in right now. I'm going to share my screen and show parents something that they have access to, or their student athletes have access to, that you may not even know they have access to. So I am going to go into my Huddle account real quick, right? And I'm going to show you the back end of Huddle that I think a lot of parents are not privy to. The back end of it, your student athlete has access to every single school in the country, and they can actually get their highlight tape to them. The key is to find out who is the person who's the person behind the scene that is checking the huddles as they come in. So basically knowing who the recruiting coordinator is for each school. And then you'll be able to do that. Let's see. I got a call coming in. Let's see who this call is coming in. It's coming in hot. So hopefully it's not a bill collector. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello? Coach Block.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing fine, sir. I have a question. When you talk about parent and recruiting,
yes.
Can a parent kill a child's recruiting?
Yes.
By being overly involved?
Absolutely.
And what does that look like?
That looks like telling coaches that or getting on social media, telling coaches what your kid should have and what he shouldn't have, or what he's better than or what he isn't better than. Like, oh, my son only is or only going to. Not returning calls from coaches who may not be at the schools that you have specifically targeted. Also, telling your high school coach what positions your son should be playing in rather than positions that fit the team. Those are all ways that can definitely damage the character or the vision of the character of your student athlete based upon the parents' opinions.
Thanks. Thank you, Coach.
You got any more questions? Hey, this is pretty dope. You got any more questions? What else you got, Zig?
So I want to know on the conservative side, how should a parent conduct themselves? Aside from giving the transcript, how does a parent help promote the child?
You got to treat it no different than you would treat your job. You advocate when there is something wrong, but you also have to know how to communicate to coaches. The biggest thing is everybody thinks they know what the coach's job is or how a coach should be doing their job. But that's like going to a doctor, telling a doctor specifically how to perform surgery or how to diagnose something. Just because people watch football on Sundays and Saturdays and Fridays and you sit in the stands and maybe you've played the game before, unless you've sat in a coach's seat or a recruiter's seat, you don't specifically know what's happening behind closed doors. That's not saying that your opinion may not have some weight, but when you're talking about a person who has to provide for their family and a person who does this day in and day out, a person who has to report to higher ups when it comes down to valid information and all that, you have to respect the stance that some of these guys go through. And I do feel at times, because social media, we have these bully rooms basically where it's just like old school high school cafeteria where everybody, all the cool kids sit together and they kind of try to dictate the vibe and the flow of what it should be. It can alter a parent's reality of where their child sits. And I do feel like it's unfair at times to coaches. The biggest thing is to make sure that everything for your child is on point. All the boxes are checked. And then make sure when you communicate, it's clear, it's concise, it's business, it's not emotion. So much emotions goes into recruiting for families because they have rose-colored glasses on. So you'll have a guy who's 5'7" and weighs 230 pounds playing running back, thinking that he's going to go to Alabama, and then get mad because Alabama coaches aren't looking at him. But then forget the fact that there hasn't been that type of running back in Alabama's room in years. I mean, there needs to be some clear reality when it comes down, or we're not comparing ourselves to some of the guys who are highly recruited. For example, if I am a running back right now, Amir Brown in this area is one of the backs that's a standard, right? So if I'm not doing at least what Amir is doing, then what am I talking about? Why am I as a father or as a parent saying my kid should this, my kid should that, when I specifically am not remotely close to one of the top dogs, statistically or physically, academically? If I don't have these boxes checked, I probably should sit down and shut up.
Wow. You use an Amir Brown. You use an Amir Brown, and that's like, I mean, that's a big shadow to cast. But I think that's also fair and accurate when you look at some of the players who are being highly recruited around here. Mm-hmm. I think those are measuring sticks. Mm-hmm. That, hey, does your film match up?
Right.
Are you doing the same thing? Are you having the same impact on the field as these players do?
Yes.
That's a great barometer.
Correct. Just for example, the gentleman Lance from Southern, he just committed, correct? He's going to Duke.
Yes.
And so to go to Duke, what do we already know about Lance? If he's going to Duke, that means he already has the grades, right? So if I am in his position, I'm feeling like I should have gotten that opportunity, then I need to start looking at myself before comparing him. Do I have the grades to get into Duke? And if the answer is no, shut up. So then don't say things like, well, what I should get or what my son or what my kid should get. The number one thing is, do you check the boxes? If you don't check the boxes, then you can't get upset for not receiving what other student athletes are receiving.
All right, Coach Block, that brings me to a good point. So congratulations to Lance Henderson. Great job.
Congratulations. Absolutely.
Lance Henderson, it also seems like he has a team who's helped. For an 8th grader looking to come into high school who has a set of skills, should his family start looking at a team how to prepare him for that next level? And what does that look like?
So if I'm an 8th grader going into my high school year, times have changed for student athletes. Now, old school mindset, Coach Block is going to tell you one thing. The first thing you need to do is dominate JV. Though you're looking at some of us automatically jump past JV and go straight to varsity. And we have varsity dreams with an 8th grade kid. So I am looking at, and any parent should be looking at, how students develop through a program. So how has a kid gone from his freshman year to his senior year in that specific program? If you have been able to see a player's progression and you see that he or she develops in a on the field, off the field, character, grades, academically, like there you see that these people are getting better, then that's what you focus on as an 8th grader coming in. The one thing you can control in all this is your specific effort. You can't control specific opportunities. You can only be ready for opportunities when they come. People think, and especially when we get into these transferrings or these high schools, you think you can make your opportunity. You can still transfer and not be recruited, right? Because do you check the boxes? Now, if you check the boxes, I'm not going to also say that, I'm not going to be ignorant to an 8th grade student going into a program where they're a losing program, and then now you expect to be the change. Well, that's tough. And it would take me back to what I was saying in the beginning. If you're a losing program, then as an 8th grader and a parent of an 8th grader, then I could see that 9 times out of 10, they're not helping their children progressively get better in that program. So then now I would not put my kid in that program. Now, if I do see kids getting better in that program, but I feel like my child isn't getting an opportunity in that program, then I'm going to have a conversation with a coach. I don't believe people should run from competition. If you feel like my son is good, he's in 8th grade, he should be competing for a JV spot and all that stuff, don't run from competition, because going to 4 schools in 4 years as a high school student, or transferring because there's somebody else in your position and you can't beat them out, I think that's a terrible way to look at it as an 8th grader. When you're in the 8th grade, you should be thinking about development first.
All right. Now, Coach, I have to play devil's advocate with you because now some schools are getting a reputation of being very recruitable, no matter what position you play, when you play, or how you play. Why wouldn't I want my 8th grader to go to that school?
Because just because those student athletes are being recruited doesn't mean your student athlete is going to be recruited. So, for example, and I'm not going to hold any punches, we over here in Wake County, Roseville is one of the schools that everybody thinks has a magic wand, right? But is all 11 players at Roseville being recruited on both sides of the ball? No, they're not, right? So what we fall in love with is the social media side of things, right? But all 11 players, every single person that suits up is not being recruited. And I think that is the issue that some parents believe is just because your son plays, you believe you are obligated to an opportunity for an offer. And that is just simply not the truth. What you are obligated to is the opportunity to perform on the team. The next step of being able to get an offer is based upon your output when you're on that team. It's a lot of work. So some of what we see, we put the carriage in front of the horse. We're not showing all the work that these student athletes are doing to get the opportunities that they have. And as an 8th grader, that's what you have to pay attention. How hard are the people working in front of me? You know, like for example, you know, you have Quentin Cipher, right? Ohio State. How hard is Quentin Cipher and his family working to assure that he has what he has? Now, granted, Millbrook and their coaching staff is a huge piece of his success, right? He's there, he's repping, he's going through all these things. He plays on the team and he has the opportunity to make sure he exemplifies the work that he puts in. But what is he doing off the field when nobody's watching? Are you doing those things? Are you really doing those things? Are you really putting in that work? Or parents, are you really investing that type of money and time? Are you really bought in? Or do you expect that it's a coach's job to get that done? It's just some things that I believe that there's some misconceptions about how the process works, because at times people don't brag about how hard they worked until, you know, somebody specifically asked. You know what I'm saying? Like, no kid is saying, like I said, let's look at Quentin Cipher and Amir Brown. Nobody is saying, or they're not saying, I work so hard and I do this and they're not bragging about the shit they do off the field. But that stuff that they do off the field is majority of the reason why they're receiving what they receive. And if you're going to compare and you're going to copy, that's what you want to copy. Those young men look a certain way, right? And even for yourself, Mr. Ziegler, Ryan worked a certain way. You see what I'm saying? Once again, he's on Cardinal Gibbons, and everybody thinks everybody at Cardinal Gibbons just has for lack of a better word, the golden road, the yellow brick road to D1. And you can speak about it. It's not necessarily that way, right? There's a lot of hard ass work that goes in, but people don't talk about that side. They want to talk about, you know, what my son should get. Okay, but does your son work as hard as the next person? And if the answer is no, then that's why you're getting what you get.
I often say plenty of times, getting better hurts.
Yes.
And not everybody wants to do that.
Yes.
But they want the end results and the attention. So again, I talked to Mr. Cipher, and he talks about how the team comes over to the house and watches film.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Amir get up early in the morning. I've talked to the quarterback over at Millbrook and how his dad has him training constantly.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new day now, Coach Block. We're recruiting. Before you get recruited, you have to put in all this other work to just be looked at.
Yes.
So it's a new day, and then with money being involved for possible college freshmen, high school seniors, it's changed the whole game.
Yes.
It's changed the whole game. That's another topic. I can't wait for you to touch on that one.
I'm trying to stay away from that one because it's messy, but you're right. So you figure a lot of these young people are looking for the opportunity to make hundreds of thousands of dollars right out of high school. And some people are, right? We're not going to say that it's not happening. We see that it's happening. But what amount of work are you willing to put in to be that type of person? And let's be realistic. It's a small percentage of people who get that opportunity. So if we talk about how this transition goes. You have 3% that make it to college. Of that 3% that make it to college, the statistic now is 62% of those people drop out within their freshman year. So if those 62 are dropping out within their freshman year, think about how hard it is to be that 1% that makes it all the way to the top. This is not the fun part of it. Stops after youth football. If you're truly serious about this, it becomes a business the moment you hit 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade, because from your grades to your character, to your presentation, to your social media, to your camps, to your trainers, all this shit has to be in line. It has to be in line, or it's not going to work.
Wow.
And it's tough.
That's a lot to digest over lunch.
It's tough. That's what I'm saying. It's tough for anybody to just sit down and think that this is just like, my son's good. Okay, there's a million football players, and that's not a lie. There's a million high school football players, a million plus every Friday night in the country, right? So where does your son stack up against everybody? Not just your little area, not just a little conference. Where does he stack up against everybody? How does that work? But Zig, I gotta let you go, man. I think I got somebody else calling in. So I appreciate you joining in, man. But I think I got somebody else calling in, brother.
Take care, buddy.
All right. Bye. Hello? Hello? Nope. I guess I don't. If you did just try to call in, try to call me back in. You can somehow I got disconnected from you. So just hit me back if you try to call in. From WEA Sports, the eastern part of the state does not camp good. Show how much work is being done on your training. I agree. I promise you, the eastern side of the state does suffer when it comes down to how we camp and then who we camp with. That's a part of why I'm doing what I'm doing. 1 second. Let's got to put somebody in. Hello? Yo. Yes.
It's Coach Washington.
This is Coach Block.
What's going on, Block?
What's going on, man? Osh, what's going on with you, man?
Yeah, now we live on your show?
We are live on the show. Yes, sir.
Well, can I chime in on some of that work part you talking about?
You sure can, man. Go ahead and say what you got to say.
Because me and you have done projects before. I come to Durham, and you come to Charlotte several times.
Yes, sir.
From the middle school to the high school camps we were doing.
Yes, sir.
And you seen it yourself. I'm just talking about my area in Charlotte. Mm-hmm. You seen it yourself on a regular Saturday. We had college coaches not only at the camp, but running the camp.
Yeah, coaching in it. Yep.
So the coaching the camp. So the work has to be done, man. You got to get work, man. And we talked about this before, about the eastern part of the state not being up to par as some other parts of the states like Greensboro and Charlotte when it comes to camps. So if that's the way with camps, it got to be the same way of training. Because I looked at the state championship game, and I think the quarterback from that whoever Huff played, was that Millbrook?
Millbrook High School. Mm-hmm. Millbrook High School.
He was talking about he glad his son didn't run because he was talking about the size of the kids in the weight program.
Yes.
So that comes down to the work that's being done in the dark that people don't talk about. Like the size of the kids at Huff, how big they were, the work they put in. That's normal down here. You got to put that work in. You have to put that work in the dark, man. You got to be training. You just can't just leave it up to the high school coaches to get your kids prepared, man. You got to come in already prepared for your high school season with all your training, your weightlifting, and then the coaches can pick it up from there, and then we can build a better product.
Yes, I agree. I will be honest. From what I see here, a lot of times the students on this side are not as physically developed as the West. you have certain schools that can do it, but it's not on a consistent basis across the board. I don't feel like it's emphasized as much as it is on the West Side. Here, everybody wants to turn into a hooper the moment that the football season is over. Everybody think they're going to be John Wall or PJ Tucker as soon as the football season is over, and they forget about the weightlifting side. And what I see on the West Side is them cats eating them weights. It's a little different. It's a lot different. It's a lot different.
Yeah, man, they eating in weights. Even with my son transitioning from middle school to high school, he's still in the 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
We got programs down here, Block. Like he did it with a local high school. They have an off-site thing they like to do outside of their school that the kids pay for.
Mm-hmm.
And he did that strength and conditioning with them for 8 weeks.
Mm. Mm.
He did it for 8 weeks in middle school.
But that's the thing. Over here, we got people where something like that'll happen, man. There's schools that'll snitch and tell on one another. We got problems over here when it comes down to stuff like that, man. This off season, this work, like all that transferring and all that stuff that happened on y'all side over here, man, these dudes will turn them kids in so quick it ain't even funny. I ask me how I know. Like over here,
and this was some offsite and Block. This was some offsite stuff. Like they got a place, a facility where they go, where they got the trainers. The kids pay for this. It ain't free. The kids pay for it.
Okay. Well, see,
so we paid to be a part of that.
And that's the other thing, man. We got to stop hating over here. Y'all tend to get together and work a little bit different. Over here, people hate. So there's people who got facilities and, you know, the trainers, we got that. But everybody over here starts to point fingers and then people start to work in small little cliques. And that's why I'm glad with this camp, I'm able to bring in the trainers and coaches. And so we can break that up because like you said, it's all about the kids. So if we can get a guy who got the best gym and the access to the best gym and we can send the kids there, send them there, let them get that work. I'm glad you brought that point up because the gentleman who used to be the strength and conditioning coach for me at Enloe, when they seen all them kids, all of a sudden they got big as hell. He now has his own gym. Any kid that I know is going to him. Like you said, they need to have off-season, off-campus places that they can go and get that work.
Yeah, man, I've seen a lot down here, man. We got other people. My guy named Philando Clark.
Yeah.
He does a middle school.
Oh, really?
He does a middle school strength and conditioning for middle school kids. He had like 3 middle schools coming to him in the off season, and he's getting them prepared for strength and conditioning, age appropriate strength and conditioning, but still
they getting that work.
It's about 30. It'd be like 20, 30 kids in there. 20, 30 kids in there trying to work on strength and conditioning. Then you got another coach, I can't remember his name. He's at Piedmont Middle, but he has a nonprofit where they hook up.
Yeah.
And he got a bus that takes the kids after school, a van to pick them up, and then they go do strength and conditioning.
So that's what I'm saying. The opportunities.
You gotta put the work in, bro.
The opportunities to work like that. That's what I'm striving to do. I had to get my ass off the couch, Wash. Like I've been watching it and I see the parents and I feel bad for the parents because they don't have all the information. They just see, well, why is it working for other students and it ain't working for me? And the first thing that I tell them is, like you just said, you got to go get that work. You got to go find that work. You got to differentiate yourself from everybody else because you have student athletes that are going to go get it. And those are the student athletes that you're competing against when it's time to talk about offers and scholarships and all that stuff. Don't look at the people who are on your team who ain't putting in no work or the guys across the city that ain't putting in no work. It's the ones that are putting in that work. You can see their training videos on their social media. You can see that they're getting better on their social media. Those are the guys that you're competing against, not just the regular old Joe who's just, you know, playing around with the game. These guys are serious out here.
Yeah, and I hate to hear people talking about it's the coach's fault. It's the coaches. How? We in the era of social media. You can look up any college coach online, on Twitter, on the school site. You can send as much video to any coaches as you want.
Yeah.
You have the ability to take it out of the coach hands and reach out to the coaches yourself. Send them information, send them videos, build a relationship with them. And then you have to get some type of training. I know a lot of people just don't see the financial benefit in the training, but you spending it now to reap the benefits of it later when he getting a scholarship. I mean, you have to invest.
Yes.
Some people just don't want to invest. They just think, I'm going to get it through the school. And no, the school is not going to get you where you're supposed to be. It's the other work you do outside of school, along with the school work, that's going to make you a better athlete. Like this Saturday, we got a middle school 7-on-7 down here. We not up on our school names, but we build our own teams, and we got a middle school 7-on-7. If you're in the 8th grade going to 9th, you can't participate. It's coming in. It's the rising 6th through 8th graders, and we just doing it to get the work.
Yeah. Early.
The tournament, don't nobody really care about winning the tournament. It's about getting better and putting the work in.
Yeah. But like I said, there's a difference sometimes in just how people work. We have to put that much effort over here so that we can keep our students in line with the Charlotte ones. And there's people over here that's working, but we need more so that it gravitates that attention. So when college coaches come in, it's easy because they're familiar from seeing the work. On the Charlotte side, from what I've noticed, coaches are a lot more familiar with the work that's being done because it's consistently done, as you're saying, from the time that everybody's in middle school all the way up. But do me a favor, Coach Wash, while I got you on the line, man, go ahead and drop information and all that stuff about yourself, man, so people know who I'm talking to and then what you got going on, because I know you do a lot of things for kids too.
Man, I'm Coach DeArmond Washington out of Charlotte. I run Washington Elite Athletics, short name WEA. We do recruiting and scouting. We started off doing recruiting and scouting, doing the prospect camp, and we really started off with doing the youth middle school age camps where we had the college coaches coming down and running these youth middle school camps, building relationships. A lot of kids got offered from those coaches years later. And then we moved on to the high school recruitment. We do the training. Like I say, recruiting and scouting, we do the training. And now we're back to grassroots, working with the youth in the middle school, helping them get better through the 7-on-7 and doing those middle school football camps. You was a part of that at the beginning, Block.
Yes, sir.
You were right there when we were building it up.
Yes, sir. We came down. I had people come down from Pittsburgh to help out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, you were there when we was building it up, and it paid off, because now I was like kind of the only guy doing it. Now everyone's doing it down here, and it's helping our kids get more exposure, because we just constantly bringing in coaches. So that's what we do down here in Charlotte. That's what I do at WEA. But I like what you're doing up there with the camps. We're trying to get the camps going again.
Yeah,
It's just getting the people to realize you have to attend the camps.
Yes. Yeah, you got to attend the camp. You got to get the work, man. Can't run from it. And
you got to get the work.
The more opportunity you have to get that work, the better. And, there are some camps out here that are money grabs that ain't going to help. But, when you have somebody who has vetted themselves and vetted the people that they have in the camp to make sure they're putting out a good product, man, you go ahead and invest the money, because we're going to help you for the long haul. People like Coach Washington that you're hearing now, myself, there's guys out here that are going to assist you even when the camp is over and you say, Coach, I'm hurting. All right, well, here, call this guy, because one thing that Coach had mentioned that is very important is building relationships. Through these camps, you can build relationships. The coaches can build relationships so that now when they're looking for somebody, they'll give you a call. Hey, Block, what? Hey, man, I know you do them camps, man. I'm looking for some O-lineman. I need an O-lineman guy. And then now you just pass the information over. I've seen Coach Washington do it in person for a coach coming, hey, man, I need somebody. And I seen a big old dude. He just didn't have the grades. And his parents, didn't make sure that he was in a position to have the grades. But Coach Washington had him tapped in. But we got to do this more often. And I think hopefully if we can come together, especially if we can bring Charlotte, Raleigh area, and then even if we can get some folks down there on the beach together and start to connect these dots, man, then I think we can make sure our kids are getting the optimal exposure for their abilities, man. So I appreciate you calling in, Walsh.
And people got to work together, Block. I hope y'all fix it up there, man. Working together and sharing the information, man. So we can just, because right now it's all about helping these kids.
That's all it is, man. Appreciate you calling, man. We'll talk later on.
No problem.
All right, bro.
Have a good one.
You too, man. Peace. So this is dope. This took a lot of my time and talking to y'all. And I promise you, I appreciate this. It makes it a little bit easier for me if you guys call in and ask questions, because I got the answers, but sometimes I don't specifically know what you want to hear. So I put things together and in my mind of what I think you might want to hear. But I promise you, giving me questions and answers is so much better than me just sitting here coming up. And I promise you, we can do this every single day as long as I have the time. We can do the 1 o'clock live, the lunch, the what am I calling this thing? Lunch with Block, or live at lunch, or lunch talk with Block. Let's whatever we want to call it. I don't know. Not worried about what we call it. But here's what I do want to end with, man. I want to make sure everybody understands that First and Goal 365 is the camp registration is open. And I need you guys to go ahead and fill it up now. Please don't wait to the last minute, because we are capping at specific position, or at every position. And the reason why we are capping at positions is so that you can maximize the reps. The goal is for you to be able to work and be seen. You can't be seen if you're getting 2-3 reps. We need to see you getting multiple reps and going against multiple opponents. So please make sure you register now, because I don't want to have that parent call me at the last minute, which I know is going to happen. Block, man, can you squeeze me in? And I am going to tell you. So we've done this live 3 times in a row, and I've said this 3 times in a row. I am going to tell you no, and I don't want you to get mad at me, but I'm going to tell you, I have been telling you for weeks to register your kid so that you do not miss the opportunity. You don't want to miss this opportunity. Everybody's getting something. The parents, you will have a recruiting seminar that's going to be going on while the student athletes are getting stretched out, getting started, because you guys don't need to see that. But we need to get the information and the right people in front of you so that you can have a plan. Then once we get that done, you guys can come out and see the kids compete. The student athletes are going to get underneath those weights. So the gentleman I spoke to you, Coach McKenzie, who was my strength and conditioning coach when I had all them dogs at Enloe. Y'all seen their bodies. I'll get before and after so you can see it. He's the reason why they look the way they do, and he currently trains some of the top athletes in the area. You all will have access to him. He has his own business. You need to contact him so that you can be a part of his crew who works out, just like Coach Washington just said. There's places where we can go that we can get strength and conditioning outside of school. Then you're going to have the top trainers. So do I want to say the coaches yet? I don't know if I want to say the coaches yet, man. I'm trying to hold off on saying the coaches because we'll get to that. But yes, and you'll have some of the top coaches in the area and trainers in the area at this camp. And you're also going to get video footage, right? So we're partnered with Money Down. So if you don't know that, Money Down is going to be there. They're going to be filming. So you're going to get all the hype. And we got On3 that we invited. They'll be there. We got Rivals. Well, they are Rivals. We have 24/7 Sports that we invited. So we've talked to these people. We got Coach Brooks that'll be there so that you will have the ultimate set of exposure. Then on top of that, your information will be put into a database. We will then take said database and send it specifically to schools. All right. Why? Because First and Goal follow the bylaws and the rules to be able to do that. We can send and take our kids' information and give it to schools. Tomorrow, what I was going to do before we got into the phone calls, so I got to set a time for that so that we can take phone calls. I love it. So if we'll keep taking phone calls. But what I'll do tomorrow is show you all what students have access to behind the scenes so that you can see that literally at their fingertips through their huddle, they can send out highlight tapes, or your coach can send out highlight tapes. Depending on how the account is set up, your coach can send out highlight tapes for them directly to the schools. So you don't even have to be like, who, how. Huddle sends it directly for them too. So we got that information coming up tomorrow. If you haven't registered, please register. It's easy. Go to firstandgoal365.com. And then all you do is click on camps. Once you click on camps, register, boom, you're in. $99 up until the day of, it goes to $125. So don't be one of those people to wait to the last minute and then try to get the early bird price. It won't work. This is First and Goal 365. I'm your man, Coach Block. And as always, don't compare, compete. Peace.
Bull City, stand up. The 919 has talent, and now it's time to prove it. The First and Goal 365 Showcase is coming to Riverside High School on June 27th. And this is not just another camp. This is where you get tested, get evaluated, and get verified. No politics, just opportunity. Parents, we got you too. We're bringing a free parent recruiting seminar to help families understand the process, ask the right questions, and get real information about what it takes to move from high school football to the next level. And yes, college coaches will be in attendance. Early bird registration is only $99, but it goes up to $125 at the door. So don't wait until it's too late. If you're a player in Durham, Raleigh, the Triangle, or anywhere in North Carolina trying to get seen, this is your moment. The Bull City Classic presents the First and Goal 365 Showcase.